I love you. Gentlefolk, ladies and men, we're glad to have you here again. So please, won't you come on in and sit with us here on the couch. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh, Esquire.
And yes. I am Sir the Faceless Leon, Esquire. And this is... this is Green Faces on the Couch. It's a podcast about movies and TV. I didn't really have to think about it.
You know what I have to think about? What the fuck are we talking about today? If I didn't have my book in front of me, I would forget. Forget.
It is the Bourne Legacy. Here we are.
Dun dun dun.
We're just freshly back from a break. We hope that was cool with you guys, I guess.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving.
Yeah, here if you're American.
If you're American, that's
and
true.
If you do that.
And if you're also a woke American, I hope that your Thanksgiving wasn't, I hope it was a different celebration of things and not of the first Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I hope that is like that we've opened up our eyes a little bit to that and that maybe we think about this great land that we have drawn our borders on.
Right.
It used to belong to a whole slew of different people that we have really marginalized to the extreme. So, yeah, just, keep that in mind.
After Halloween, I really just don't care about the holidays. At the end of the year, it's like, I like the atmosphere of...
Right. The togetherness.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of actual, genuine kindness. That's more of, shopper envy. Weird.
Yeah. Oh, man. It just keeps on getting more and more commercial. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I feel like both of these holidays do. And it's just like, come on.
And, it would be fine, I think, to have, all the shit pop up in the stores and all that if people just didn't take it so goddamn seriously.
Right.
It's fun things you can buy.
Attack people over a pair of eye clothes.
Yeah, if your kid didn't get the Megazord that year, they're gonna print more Megazords because they sold them.
Precisely. Or you go one up and you build your own, and you're like, look, kid.
Yeah,
everybody's got that shitty ass toy. You got a unique one made out of cardboard and plastic sticks.
Mine would probably be a little bit better. I probably use PVC, plumbing joints, and shit like that.
Yeah. Cereal box and Elmer's glue for me.
Ow. My knee just popped, and that did not feel good.
We're getting old.
Yeah, we're talking about how things used to be, and popping joints when they shouldn't be popping. I'm just sitting. I'm sitting, and my knee popped. What is this? You know who wouldn't have to deal with that? Alex Cross.
Not Jason Bourne?
Aaron Cross, yeah. Not Alex Cross.
Aaron Cross.
I think that's from a different...
Yeah, it's a James Patterson novel, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
We have not... Yeah, I call him not Jason Bourne. That's all. I can never remember
Jeremy
his name.
Jeremy Rennered, not Matt Damon.
Not Matt Damon.
He is medically enhanced by Blueies and Greenies, and they make him more agile and strong and resilient, as well as...
And smart.
Smarter. Much smarter. And that is the crux of the plot. So I don't even think I'm going to bring in anything that has to do with Jason Bourne in this summary, because it really has very little to do with this movie.
I don't know what you're talking about. The movie brought him up 1,000 times. He has everything to do with this movie.
1,000 times, but it was such a pasted on thing. Yeah. It's like paper mache Jason Bourne movie.
He is not necessary at all, but he is the crux for the entire plot happening.
Yes, it is the reason it happens.
Yeah, not Jason Bourne. Aaron Cross?
Aaron Cross.
Aaron Cross. He is a spy for the program Outcast, which is, I guess, a successor of Blackbriar and Treadstone. And when Jason Bourne and the Bourne number 3, I don't remember what it's called. And I told you, yeah, I said this before we started recording, but I'm going to say it now. It just occurred to me that number 2, they should have called Bourne Again. They're not doing the fucking book stories. They're not.
No, they're not.
They're just taking these stories, like these titles from books, and they're just like, Jason Bourne. We'll just, I don't want to come up with a new name. We'll just do that. Know what?
I'd have to imagine the first one is a more loyal interpretation.
Yeah, I think the first one is quite more loyal. The others are not. Again, I haven't read them, so I don't know. This is just what I've read on Wikipedia.
Wikipedia,
yeah, it's, the key research website for all college students out there. If you're in college, don't use Wikipedia for your research, guys.
Are going to use it as a jumping off place. Just remember that there is a resources part of the page for a reason.
Yeah, check those sources.
You have to go and physically read those.
Exactly. It can be a good jumping off point, but not your full out like me. Don't be like the Green Traveler here. I didn't go to Earthian College for the the realness of it. I came just for the shits and giggles.
Right.
I got better university back on Gorsh. Like
I went to be a history teacher, and then they said, well, since according to the historical record you don't exist, you can't do that.
Yeah, plus but I guess being faceless would lend itself well to history. You're there to teach history, not there to be part of history.
Sure, yeah, that's right. I am a Watu, the Watcher.
Yeah.
And
you should have twisted that around on them. And just twist their arm and be like, no, motherfuckers.
You should cast me. No, seriously, though, his name escapes me at this moment, but he did a marvelous job.
Who?
The guy who played Uatu.
Oh, right. Gotcha. Yeah. Jeremy Wright? Was it Jeremy?
Right?
Jeffrey Wright?
Is that
Jeffrey Wright?
I don't know.
I know his last name's Wright. But Aaron Cross, a member of Outkast, Jason Bourne leaks all this shit about Treadstone and
Jeff.
It was right, Jeffrey Wright?
Jeffrey.
Nice. And Jason releases all this shit about Treadstone, Blackbriar, and America is, freaking the fuck out. I guess the CIA or whoever, all these spy organizations.
Good old Ned Norton. Edward Norton.
Yeah, Edward Norton, man.
Is in this movie for some reason. I mean, he is the impetus of what's going on. He is the one who calls the shots and says, we need to cut all these programs loose.
Exactly.
But he is completely unnecessary for the movie. Because the interesting
Jason Bourne's name was scratched into the bunk bed.
That's
he was where Jeremy was.
He was in the same place that Jeremy was. That's right. And
this is the
all
same
the
universe.
Other people that carved their name into that. James Bond's name could have been on there.
Yeah, but he don't matter. They don't matter. Jason does. Yeah, this movie was like gung-ho. It had a full-on erection that it had to tell you it was part of the same universe. It couldn't be anything else.
It didn't have to be. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, it didn't.
All the shit that connects it to the other movies is so disjointed from the actual plot of this film. The A plot and the B plot. Okay, the B plot kicks off the A plot, but then they don't meet up again. I swear to God.
Well, see here's what was happening. Here's what I was thinking was happening. Was Marvel had just started their universe, right? Mm-hmm. Marvel was like, look at this. I think like Iron Man was out by this point. Maybe Iron Man 2 as well. And Tony Gilroy, who was the director, he was also the co-writer of the last 3 films. He finally gets the direct one. And have his vision, but he's not given Jason Bourne, he's given Aaron Cross. Sorry, Tony. But Tony Gilroy, he sees into the future. He sees the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he's like, ooh, Jason Bourne can have his own movie cinematic universe.
That's right.
And for whatever reason, they don't call this one Bourne Again. They missed their opportunity with the second one. Here's a perfect time. It's literally a new character. They're not rebooting, but they are adding a new layer of this universe.
Yes, they are.
Here's where they could have called it Bourne Again. Easily.
They could have called it Bourne Again, but I honestly, this is the first time since the original movie that I think that the title actually makes sense. So
Yeah.
I'm good with Bourne Legacy, actually, because it's like, yeah, okay, Jason Bourne did some shit, and now all these other people are going to pay for it.
Yeah, because I don't think we've actually mentioned yet, because as you said, Edward Norton says burn everything.
Right.
And by burn everything, it's burn all of these Outcast, I think it's called. It's the Project Outcast.
That might be it.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It's what I have written down, but I don't know if I wrote down Outcast because it's the actual program name or because I like the band.
It started. I know exactly. Yes, because I remember it thinking about the band.
Right.
So it could be it. But it might also be like Outpost or something like that because, fucking code names.
It's something close to that at the very least.
Yes.
And when they decided to burn this program, it's basically because they're doing this medical testing on these spies. You know, they're enhancing them to be super soldiers. It's their super soldier program, and Bourne has leaked it all. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
And, you know, they're just like, for most of the spies, they could easily just be like, hey, we're getting rid of the blues and greens. We've made a new pill. Take this new pill and you'll be fine. And they take the new pill and it's actually poison and they die. But Aaron Cross and, for whatever reason, Oscar Isaac, which surprised me because I forgot he was in this movie.
Yeah, I had no idea he was in this. Kind of out of nowhere for a short while, and he seems like he could be Jeremy Renner's best friend later in the movie, but he kind of just disappears.
Well, he dies.
Okay,
Spoilers.
I think I looked away then because I did not watch him die.
Well, he doesn't die on screen. It's they're in a cabin together. Sorry to spoil everything, but they're in a cabin together.
This is the beginning of the movie, though.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner, Oscar Isaac, and Jeremy. There's a drone. They hear a drone coming.
Right.
And Jeremy's like, I'm gonna run out to the outpost. I'm gonna climb up there with my sniper rifle. I'm gonna pay attention and try to figure out what's going on.
Bang, bang.
Once he runs out the door, the drone shoots a missile and hits the cabin, and they're like, we've got both of them. They're both dead. Yeah.
Okay, so he never made it out of the cabin, because I remember him saying, yeah, I'm going to go do this. And I almost kind of expected him to come back into the movie.
Right. I mean, well, it's a spy movie. If they don't die on screen, they can't be dead.
That's right. He's going to be in Bourne Legacy 2. Bourne Legacy again.
No, but there we go. It was like Bourne Legacy 2. Born again. No, that one would probably be like Bourne Crossing or something like that.
Bourne
you can mix both names.
Yes.
Bourne Crossing.
Or they just make it Cross Legacy, which kind of sounds like a intensified CrossFit exercise.
Yeah, I was thinking like a winter sports like tournament.
Yeah.
The Cross Legacy. I don't know.
A video game of a sport. That's what it is. So
and this movie also had like all the main supporting cast members who have been in every kind of movie ever. Like there's the one guy in House of Cards. He's the cocaine addict senator in the first season. I don't remember which actor he is.
Well, I actually haven't seen House of Cards.
He's the bald guy and he has a beard in this one. I can't help you further than that. I think he's with the FBI, maybe the CIA.
Okay.
Yep.
Is he one of the guys? Well, they bring back Daniel. Oh, I can never remember how to say his name. Strathern. Right.
It's close
Noah
enough.
Vosen is his character's name. They bring him back in.
Yeah.
So, yes, like you said, Zelko Ivanek plays Dr. Donald Foyte. And this is another spoiler that he ends up shooting up everybody. But anyways, that guy is also in everything. He's just in fucking everything.
And then when he is shooting up everybody, one of the people in he was a scientist. He was working in a lab with a bunch of other scientists, and one of those scientists was Rachel Weisz. She is basically the Maria character of this film, where she gets tagged along into Jeremy Renner's bullshit. She's got to survive alongside him now.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little more than that. She's
information. She's a scientist, and she works for the deep government like he does. So
yeah,
it's maybe
and I guess she did
a little more like Nicolette. And he also finds her on purpose, which Bourne never found anybody on purpose except for at least not his love interests.
Right. Yeah. And like Jeremy like went to Rachel specifically because she had treated him with the meds before in the past. That's like right. They didn't know each other's names. I don't think. Well, maybe Jeremy did because he's a spy. But like she didn't know his name. She referred to him by like a number. And
that's right.
He was
7,
patient 5, something like that.
5. I don't remember.
I don't know. It's not important.
It's not.
This movie was interesting enough, and then, I feel like this is like the worst episode we've ever had.
I know I'm all over the place. I'm not helping us. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
The thing is, I think you're about to say how I kind of feel about the movie. I enjoyed it more than the last two. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Well,
probably because the cinematography's better.
Yes, definitely. The cinematography's way better. I was actually interested in the A plot. I feel like it felt a little bit more like a traditional movie than the last two Bourne movies do.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about the beats in those movies, but it's a lot of spy movies feel that way too. And I don't know exactly how to describe it, but the beats are just off for your standard movie, what we're expecting as an audience.
But I was more interested because of I'm not as I like Matt Damon more as an actor than I like Jeremy Renner.
Sure.
But I like Jeremy Renner's character more as a focal point for this kind of spy film.
Yeah,
because
he really works.
Yeah, and this might be a spoiler, but his character's not intelligent. His character, his commanding officer actually upped his IQ to help him get into the program. He forged his
when he was recruiting.
Yeah, and so when Jeremy Renner's on this medication, you have a bit of a Flowers of Algernon situation where he's terrified of going back to being
Good
dumb.
Reference.
Yeah. So it's I like that idea because for most of the film, Jeremy just is an addict. This character is I need my blues and my greens. And he's also not as with Matt Damon, with Jason Bourne, clearly he has to work to still get his plan to come out the way he visions it. But you don't really see him make mistakes. He's too good.
Right.
He's Jason fucking Bourne. He doesn't slip up. But Jeremy actually, his character has quite a few times where he just hits dead ends. He's well, fuck, I don't know what to do now. I need my drugs.
Right. Yeah, I need my brain drugs. So I think we kind of got the plot in there. And I'm sure that somebody's going to listen to this and be like, no, you didn't. But anyhow.
Enough of it was.
They want to burn Aaron Cross. He finds Dr. Martha and they fall in love. That's the plot of the movie. I don't know why they have to
go on the run and fall in love. Because it's a movie, damn it.
It's a movie.
That's all we got.
That's all we know how to do.
We only know how to make man and woman love.
Must make the breeders. Must make them breed.
Oh my god. But I guess there is one big thing I want to talk about, and we've already mentioned it slightly, which was the cinematography. Yeah. I remembered watching this in theaters, and I was I don't remember watching it in theaters. I just know I went to the theaters to see it.
Okay.
But it's all gone. I really just did not care for it when I watched it in theaters because I was I don't, fuck it. It was blah. But when I rewatched it, I was very curious about the cinematography because I knew it wasn't Paul Greengrass as the director, and so I was wondering if the individual kept the handheld shaky cam. And I was really happy at the very beginning because a very familiar name popped up, and it was Robert Elswit. Robert Elswit is one of my favorite cinematographers. He is quite often the cinematographer for Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, cool.
And one of my favorite films is There Will Be Blood.
It's a pretty good
and it's beautiful. Yeah, the cinematography, which it's one of the Paul Thomas Anderson films that Robert Elswit was the cinematographer for, and he just captures this landscape beautifully. He does a great job, amazing cinematographer, and so I was very excited. I was like, ooh, he might not mess this up. It might not be that bad to watch, and it wasn't. Like the action is handled very well. It's still very occasionally shaky. It seems like it was handheld, but it looks like he might have had like a Steadicam rig, like a really sturdy one around him, a stabilizer. So it was great. Like it was actually it's a Bourne film you can watch.
Yeah, it definitely had pretty shots. I mean, there was a lot of times where, especially in the beginning, where Aaron Cross actually takes a second to take in his surroundings, and they have nice shots of these vistas. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It
is nice.
It is nice. Yeah, so honestly, I don't know how much to really say about this movie. I think a lot of the things that I have left to say I could wrap up in a closing statement. What do you think?
I think I'm with you.
Okay, so first off, the ending doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, I know...
I don't even remember it.
I don't want to spoil this. I don't want to really spoil it because honestly, I do recommend this movie because it kept my interest, and I think what's going on in the A plot is actually pretty good. But the B plot, which is everything to do with Jason Bourne, it just feels so unnecessary for the story that they're trying to tell. So I really wish that he and Rachel didn't necessarily have to fall in love because they used that as the ending, but it was not extremely satisfying. For as cobbled together as this movie kind of feels, I can't say that I disliked it. I really enjoyed watching it. So I have to give it a face. I think it's worth watching because you'd be surprised, especially if you don't like the Jason Bourne movies. But then again, if you haven't watched the first three, you'll get really confused by the B plot.
Right.
It's really hard to call. Like it's never gonna be my favorite movie, but I think that plot is interesting, and I kind of wish that was just what the movie was, because it would have had a much more satisfying ending if it was. If
this wasn't connected to Bourne, I think it would have stood out a little bit better.
Yeah,
just as a mundane like spy thriller with a superhuman drug addict kind of twist, like,
and that was enough to make me interested in it.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. I agree with you wholeheartedly. The A plot is pretty fine. It's got good acting, especially from Rachel Weisz and Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Rachel, after the shooting, obviously is like traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
Because she just survived a mass shooting, and she is just so frozen with shock and acts so well for the next few scenes and throughout the whole film, honestly. But like during those few scenes, though, I was just like, my God, this is great. Like, great job from Rachel Weisz. Jeremy Renner, I'm not always the biggest fan of Jeremy Renner, but like he's pretty good here. He's a great action star. Like, he knows how to do that shit. I love him as Hawkeye, but like most of his other stuff, I'm kind of like, meh, he's all right.
Yeah.
And here he's like, meh, he's pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is probably one of his earlier breakout films, because this was when was this?
2012.
2012. So that was a good deal ago. On this page is a picture, is a still of Lady Gaga in that Gucci show that just came out.
Oh, yeah. Ridley Scott, House of Gucci.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch that pretty bad.
I do too, and I feel weird because it's sorry, Bourne, I'll get back to you. But Ridley Scott did this and The Last Duel, or did House of Gucci and The Last Duel, and they're coming out like 3 months apart, and I'm like, did nobody else like work in 2020 but Ridley Scott? Like,
hey, but
Ridley Scott,
he's
like,
great. We could do a Ridley Scott a whole month of Ridley Scott. We'll do
easily. But it shocked me so much because I was like, oh man, Last Duel came out, an epic like period piece. That's gonna be interesting. And I'm like, I still haven't been able to see it, but I will definitely. Yeah. And then immediately I see a review, like a trailer for House of Gucci. I'm like, oh, that looks cool, and it's like directed by Ridley Scott. I'm like, did he stop working ever? Like, Jesus.
Yeah, well, anyhow, Bourne Legacy.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later, man.
I really liked it though. The action's decent. There's some pretty good stuff. I don't really remember a lot of the action set pieces. Like, I just remember the action was good, but it doesn't have like running across the rooftops like Bourne Ultimatum and those kind of films. But yeah, it's fine. I give it 3 stars. It's if you like the Bourne films, you'll pretty much enjoy this. It's got way too many connections to Bourne, and I don't think it needed to have any connections to Bourne. But it's watchable. It's a fun spy film. It's just meh. I don't know if I would return to it.
I don't know. Like, I wish that you could press like the skip button over the parts with Edward Norton and the gang, because I do like the A plot. I just wish there was Oh yeah. Ed Norton's in it.
I keep forgetting that. We even mentioned it like 3 times in this episode already, and I was just like, oh yeah.
Because he's just so unimportant to the plot. Except for that he starts the plot off.
He's the most important element. Him and Jason Bourne. You can't have this movie without them. Hashtag sarcasm.
I think that's our show, man. Thanks for sticking with us for the Bourne Bourne playlist. We hope you've been enjoying it. We got one more to go. Jason Bourne. So we'll see you next week.
Again. Jason Bourne again.
I've been the face.
I am Jason Bourne from Gorsh.
And I am Jason Bourne with no face. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of Fiction Works 19. If you like the show, please show your support by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you might listen. We also now have a Patreon account. If you feel so inclined to support us in a financial manner, please become a patron by visiting patreon.com/greenandfaceless. You can also find more information about us on our Facebook account or on the Fiction Works 19 Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening.